Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's webinar. And we'll be talking about all things elevating customer engagement with AI agents and Dynamics 365 Contact Center. Pleasure to have your company this morning. We'll be talking about a few things, primarily the huge opportunity ahead of us within contact center modernization and investment of agentic to enable that, but also the unique differentiation that Microsoft technology brings, as well as some of the capabilities we have here at Telefónica Tech to help customers on that journey. So thank you for your attention and joining for the next 30 minutes. Let's get into it. Just a couple of housekeeping notes to make. Number one is we will be sending full slides and recording of this session after this webinar, so you'll have full access to all the content and you can watch that on demand whenever at your convenience. Secondly, we will be taking questions. We want to make this interactive. We'll reserve some time towards the end to handle those. If we can't address every single question, we'll obviously set up some individual follow-ups post the event and make sure we get round to you all. And lastly, obviously you're all muted with good reason, so Graham and I can focus on the presentation. Yeah, without further ado, let's commence. By way of introduction, my name's Greg Harrodance. I'm one of the sales leads here at Telefónica Tech. We have about 13 years experience in Microsoft business applications, now known as the AI Business Solutions Stack. So in that Dynamics 365 Power Platform, and now the emergence of agentic AI with Copilot being infused in all of that. So yeah, pleasure to speak to you this morning. Graham, my esteemed colleague, is joining me here. Graham, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, hi Greg. Yes, good to see you and hear everybody today on the webinar. My name is Graham Donnelly. I'm Head of Partnerships and Innovation, and yeah, I will be giving you a whistle-stop tour of Contact Center with a little flavor of agentic AI later on in the session.
Cool, and not to dwell on who we are as Telefónica Tech too much, but we are a specialist partner, a very strategic partner to Microsoft. Some of the customers we've worked with, the logos on this slide, a few examples you may recognize. Obviously, many more customers that we've worked with in our long history implementing these Dynamics 365 customer engagement solutions. And pleasure happily talk to you about some of those past experiences in follow-up conversations to see if they have real relevance to you as well. We are one of the larger partners in this place. We have upwards of about 1,000 consultants based out of the UK, very UK-centric organisation, and yeah, very busy engaging with new customers, particularly around the opportunity within digital contact centre transformation. So the agenda for this morning, we're going to touch on the opportunity ahead of us with some bold predictions from Gartner and some of the data that Microsoft have to really explain and give gravitas to the opportunity ahead of us. Secondly, we're going to talk a little bit about the differentiation of the unified Dynamics 365 platform to really be that go-to platform of choice for contact center modernization. And we're actually going to then dive into some solution demonstrations. So Graham's going to lead on actually bringing to life some of that agentic capabilities across different stages of the customer lifecycle. And then we'll wrap up at the end talking about how we can help potentially your organization on this journey. Some of the offerings we have, things like the contact center maturity assessment that we often provide, is a really good way to establish, our capabilities and subject matter expert around this whole topic. So like I say, we'll reserve some time for questions. Let's see if we can get to all of those on the time that we have. Again, if not, we'll make sure we reach out to you all individually after. So I wanted to start with some bold predictions, and these are on the left-hand side of the slide, some of the some of the insights we're getting from the likes of Gartner and analysts in the market. And I think when you have slides like this, it's sometimes it's just the best thing to do is just read the content in front of you, because it's really powerful and really adds a lot of meaning to the opportunity ahead of us. So the first one is that AI is changing how service gets done. We do see that, and this has been a long-term trend we've seen over the last 5-10 years in particular, but really now is being accelerated through agentic AI. So by 2029, agentic AI will autonomously resolve 80% of customer service issues without human intervention, and that's leading to a 30% reduction in operational costs. So everyone is looking at how to invest in technology to really drive down cost, but also innovate and provide that superior customer experience. And the next stat is really, well, the next prediction is testament to that. So 80% of leaders say that they'll use digital labor as opposed to investment in workforce to free up that capacity. And then consolidated service stacks are in. So what we'll talk about on the next slide is just how there is a real shift now for organizations to really adopt that unified platform that can serve every aspect of the customer engagement lifecycle. And that's a real shift from what we've seen in the past, where a lot of those applications are very fragmented and disparate, and with that creates data silos and a real challenge to serve the customer in a timely way. On the right-hand side, we see some of the stats that Microsoft, some of the data that Microsoft have predicted as well, by performing a bit of a composite research study. Really, what this is saying, some of these numbers is, agentic will obviously bring efficiencies. We all know that, 25% lower case resolution times, but also it has a real impact on experience, not just around customer experience, but actually employee experience and things like employee attrition reduction. And then how does that actually have an indirect impact on revenue, which is something not hugely top of mind when you consider contact center, but we're now using agentic to free up that workforce to focus on more revenue generating activity. So up to $20 million they estimated through this research they performed, just through driving better customer satisfaction and experiences. And like I say, many organizations we speak to are really, struggling, they're grappling with their current architecture, their current application landscape to really enable this level of efficiency and customer experience. So from a self-service perspective, you may have different platforms or different channels and technology to serve how people want to engage with you through their preferred way of communication, but also different data silos and no ability to add to understand intent and personalization, because of that fragmented nature. But also we're seeing a lot of swivel chair, a lot of different applications from human agents in the contact center, a lot of different back-end systems they have to dive into, a lot of time it takes just to handle very simple queries that could be actually fully automated through investment in agentic. And then also on the right hand side, when organizations have some field workforce to manage and schedule, often the trade-off from the contact center to those back office or middle office teams is often quite manual. It's quite inefficient as well. So again, agentic, we're seeing a huge opportunity there to really streamline the handoff between those contacts and those service requests coming in, work orders and things like that through the contact center to then be automatically dispatched and scheduled to those field operatives. With this obviously comes other challenges, for different personas, not just the agent, but the supervisors. How do they track performance? How do they get real-time insights into call trends and understanding the conversations really that are taking place, and how to then course correct or make new investments in the contact center or the customer experience generally to try and serve those trends. And also, you know, disparate systems comes with cost to maintain those different platforms, you know, to integrate them, and the lack of AI, where we see, you know, AI more often than not is kind of bolted onto those products as opposed to having a cohesive AI engine behind a unified platform. So all this leads to is kind of inefficiency, right? And obviously inconsistent customer experience, but also lost employee productivity. And that really is the opportunity ahead of us, those three things to try and improve, and agentic being a real enabler to it. So we've discussed the challenge, and I think, you know, Microsoft do have a unique position in the market to try and tackle that challenge. So Microsoft themselves have been on a journey of their own through contact center over more years than many may think. And what we're here today to showcase is that differentiation within the unified agentic platform that they serve through every step of the customer conversation and the journey through the contact center. So some of the tech it's been around for a long time, things like IVR. Obviously, we know, you know, whenever we call, whether it's to do with our mobile phone contracts, house insurance, whatever that may be, IVR has always been there. It seems like it's been there forever. However, we're now seeing real, you know, sophistication around agentic capabilities like intent agents with voice support, helping to really narrow in on the customer's reason for contact through natural conversation. But we're also seeing things like, obviously, how that then leads to smarter routing, you know, intelligent routing based on the conversation flow. Some of the keywords that are being picked up around skills required, availability of agents, knowledge articles to serve that customer in a more automated fashion. If you're not doing this, you're going to be really left behind in compared to some of your competitors in the market. What's great about these agentic solutions, some of which we'll show in a moment or two, is that, you know, they are embedded into the platform of choice from a CRM perspective that has been that preferred platform for so many years. So it's all natively built in Dynamics 365. There's no integration development required. It is configuration, it's extensibility, we have as well. So whilst Microsoft are pre-building agents within the contact center to leverage within your first-party licensing entitlement, that doesn't restrict us in any way to then extend those solutions. So through use of Copilot Studio primarily, we're able to build custom agentic solutions to really extend the capabilities of this platform. And yeah, what this really brings is an opportunity for organizations to focus more on the complex requests, and we're moving from not just trying to use technology to automate a thing or two, but we're actually moving to a world where a lot of organizations have a vision to run their contact center almost completely autonomously. And that really will allow, you know, the workforce to free up their time on a much more deeper, meaningful, personalized experience. And a few examples of some key agents, and we'll get to those in a moment. But like I say, you know, in the past, where we've seen organizations, not necessarily in the past, but still present today, grapple with that fragmented data, we're now seeing an opportunity for to point agents to multiple customer data sources and start tracking intent across those through use of AI without having to actually consolidate that data or integrate that data. So that tracking of intent to drive better service and first contact resolution has never been easier. Or where we've grappled with the manual efforts associated with creating knowledge articles and increasing that base of knowledge in the different sources. You know, we're now able to have agents actually proactively suggest knowledge articles for us based on the conversations that we're having with our customers. That's hugely beneficial, particularly for employees new into a contact center, for example, that need time to be proficient in serving those customers and have real-time assistance in those agents providing that kind of proactive support. Also, you know, productivity is a massive massive thing we talk about, and you know, AI using agentic to automate certain actions that come off the as a result of taking in calls and requests from customers, just through an initiation of an end user to trigger some workflow and have an agent then you know, quickly serve that customer in the background and allow again that human agent to free up time to take the next conversation. And then also things like, you know, as I mentioned with field service, improving that tech utilization, scheduling of such work orders that may come in that are kind of dependent on conditions like weather or traffic even, or just workforce availability. So there are a few examples. I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that's been informative so far. I'm going to pass to Graham. He's going to try and bring to life some of this in a quick demo. Graham, over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Greg. And yeah, hopefully everyone got some food for thought just in that initial introduction. And what we're going to do now is just try and bring some of those aspects to life. What we do want to highlight, though, is that we are only scratching the surface on today's demo around the capability of Dynamics 365 Contact Center and how that can be embedded into existing case management processes, but also start to consolidate your landscape of multi-channel, omni-channel engagement that already may be in place, but as Greg highlighted, maybe in a disparate fashion, and you don't have that single consolidated source of the truth. This particular slide is really just for you all to take away once you get the pack after today's session, but I'll just walk through it at a high level to really understand what we're going to show today. So what we have is a member of the public, Jane, who voice calls into a technical support organization looking for assistance with her laptop. This is the first instance where we have AI playing a role. Greg already mentioned that IVR is a standard component, but Contact Center does so much more than IVR. It will not just simply ask you to press 1, press 2, it will ask you for a description, and based on that description, will then intelligently route the call to the best team with the best skill and the most availability to answer your query. So we've got that intelligent routing kicking in before the call is even answered. Then the customer service rep will obviously answer the call. We have a little transcript, a little back and forth between the human agent and the member of the public. But again, during that process, Copilot assists the agent by allowing them to find the contact, allowing them to dynamically create a case, and also then use a range of materials such as Copilot, knowledge base articles, and collaboration within teams to internal resources. To then demonstrate the omni-channel nature of Contact Center, we're almost going to fast forward 24 hours, and Jane is then going to look for an update on her case, but she's going to choose the live chat option on the company website as a way of updating her information or receiving an update on the case. We'll see how the agent, the customer service rep, experiences the same interface, is able to find data just as easily, and is able to add context to the case without asking Jane for details, without asking her to repeat the issue, and an experience which I'm sure we all have experienced before. So it's about changing the channel, but retaining the context. Again, the customer service rep is then going to engage with Jane via that live chat, and we have an example of that back and forth. And then we're going to fast forward again, say another 24 hours to a time when either the support hours are closed, it's the evening, it's the weekend, whatever the case may be, and Jane again wants to obtain an update or get information regarding her case. On this occasion, she's going to engage with an autonomous agent, and this is going to provide her with an update and not just a simple question and answer. It's actually going to pull dynamic data, and it's actually going to ask her, does she want to create a task to then follow up with the case owner in a couple of days. So that's a general flow. It's a standard customer care, technical support type engagement, but it has channel switching without losing the context. And hopefully you'll see once we get into the demo how simplistic the user interface is and how streamlined all of the processes are. Going back to Greg's point, we are looking to consolidate your systems and not give you another set of disparate tools. So let's just jump into the demo. I am going to start the demo in the contact center workspace, and this is essentially where the customer service rep will live and breathe. This is, as you would imagine, entirely customizable, but the aim is for this to have everything within touching distance of the agent. The actual workspace itself is part of the contact center implementation, but what it does is natively sit on top of the likes of Dynamics 365 customer service. So not only do I have access to a customizable dashboard and a range of items, I can also manage my inbox, so all of the channels, all of the requests that are coming in. And from here, I can create cases and view my cases that I'm working at. I can see the conversations and the activities. But fundamentally, to try and paint the picture of consolidation, I have all of my customers and all of my contacts readily available here as well. Moving down, reporting is incredibly important. Analytics are built into the system out of the box, and I have a range of dashboards that I can use at a personal level as well as a management team level. And then analytics in terms of real-time sentiment analysis and everything that's going on across our channels. And then the dashboard really then brings that case management, that customer service element to life, and really just shows how intrinsically integrated the two solutions are, my contact center offering and my case management. Up in the top right, you can see that I'm currently online. So I'm just going to mimic a call coming in. So bear with me just while I start the call. And because I'm set as available and I'm able to now take a call, the call will arrive and will be routed to me via that IVR process that we mentioned. This will tell me the call origination, the queue that it's come into, and I'm just simply going to go ahead and accept the call at this point. What happens now is I start to see the consolidated view of the system. So the left-hand side is my communications panel, and in a second, the little transcript that we've set up is going to kick in, where the agent is going to ask, "Thank you for calling Telefónica Tech technical support. How may I help you?" And the member of the public, i.e. Jane, is then going to respond by saying that she has an issue with her laptop connecting to her printer. So a very standard request. This little back and forth will then continue, and you can see that it's transcribed in real time. You'll also see that we have sentiment analysis in the top left-hand corner, and we have all of the details of the call, such as the phone number, where it was routed from, how it was routed to you, and any other initial IVR processes that we have. So we just have that little back and forth transcribed, and I'm just going to end the call at that point, so then we can see how this request is now handled. So we know that it's an issue with a laptop connecting to a printer. We've asked for some details, and the second part of AI now clicks into the process, where you can see that transcription is converted into a conversation summary. So I can see that the customer contacted technical support with an issue on their laptop. The assistant acknowledged the problem and requested some details. I can now copy this summary as opposed to having to type all of this out manually into the system. I'm then going to just go over and find my customer, and again we see all of the initial phone call details, and we see any historical cases and any historical conversations which have taken place in the little Copilot summary on the right hand side. So again, I'm not going and looking and finding these, and I can see related cases to see if there's anything relevant. In this instance, however, I'm just going to go ahead and create the new case. So I'm just going to pull in my case title, my subject, and put this under maintenance, give it a case type, and case status in progress and a normal priority, and click save and close. So this is now moving seamlessly out of a contact center voice call coming in and straight into our case management process. So I've been able to create that new case. I've copied the conversational summary across, and I have all of that context. Now I can start to use some of the tools at my disposal, namely Copilot, so it can summarize the case, it can draft an email. I can also collaborate internally. So the assumption is that the voice call is still ongoing at this point, but I can now go in and message my colleague James, and I can ask him for assistance on this case or point me in the direction of certain materials. You'll also see that none of this is done in a different window. Yes, there are windows layered on top of what we're doing, but I can then pull in my agent script, but it's all done within the single browser tab for our user. And now, as Greg mentioned, I can start to dynamically pull in information for our knowledge search, and this can link me to an article related to how I connect my laptop to a printer. Again, all within the context of the case. So I'm not moving out to a new screen. I'm not moving away from my source of information. And I can now link this knowledge article to this particular case, and the case will then start to draft an email for me. So that's the initial channel of the call coming in, the call being transcribed, and the information then being taken from the call and written into the case. So I now have a new case. It's regarding a printer and laptop issue. I have a Copilot summary telling me exactly what's happened from the voice call directly. And I have the conversation linked to the case as well. So if I needed to come back to this to listen to the recording, or even from a Q&A perspective, if someone wanted to review my case, review my call, how it was handled, all of this information is directly at our fingertips. And this then links us back to the original conversation. I'm just going to close this off for now, and we'll do our little process of moving forward 24 hours. So we have our case created on our original conversation. So if we fast forward 24 hours, Jane now wants to get an update on her case, and she's gone to our website. Now, in this instance, the website is just purely a placeholder. This would be embedded directly in your company website. You do not need to take a portal. It's just the benefit of the demo today. So this is our third AI component, where we have a self-serve chatbot, now essentially asking a question on the live chat. And this is essentially an IVR component as well, where it will ask me for my name, which I'll type in, and it will ask me for my email address. I can't multitask, so just let me type this correctly so it recognizes. And then it will ask, how can I help? Now, of course, I could go back and forth and say, yes, I want to speak to someone, but I'm just going to say speak to an agent at this point. So this is our second channel now coming into the workspace, and you will get the exact same user experience from a customer service rep angle. So I get the same chat request coming in from the top right. I click on accept, and I am now engaging in a live chat with Jane on this particular issue. You'll see that it's adding it to my inbox, and I now have that new conversation linked on my work items. I simply pick that up, and again, similar to the voice call, we see all of our existing conversation. We see our conversation summary, and you'll see, because it requested my email address, that it has already found me, and I can then find that existing case if we asked for a case ID or if we asked on the chat. So a very representative of seeing information. So I'm just going to type in, do you require an update on your case? And if I jump back to the portal, do you require an update on your case, is then sent that way. Yes, please. I'm back to my workspace, and that conversation then continues, and I can then say we're still investigating the issue and we will be in touch as soon as possible. Oops, my spelling. And we send that back. So very similar to the voice call. It is possible to obviously manage multiple live chats, which is a slight difference between the voice call, but the exact same ability to link to a customer, link to a contact, and link that existing context to the case. So I'm just going to close the chat for now, and then show how this is now allowed us to find that customer, find that case with ease, and link all of it to a consolidated record. I'm just going to refresh my AI summary, which is now going to tell me that Jane, i.e. Graham, called in and spoke, and we have those two conversations, one a voice call and one a live chat engagement listed within the system. These can then be drilled into in more detail, and I can see the entire chat transcript, again, from a referenceability standpoint, but also a quality assurance standpoint. And then we start to see some of the reports that we can now drive from within this. So you can see the total conversations that have taken place. You can see the average wait time, abandon rate, and any ongoing conversations will be linked here with sentiment analysis and the ability to escalate or prompt people to drop in. But in terms of reporting, very, very standard and very, very much out of the box and configurable. So Jane has now got her update via the live chat. We are now fast forwarding again another 24 hours, and we want to provide some method of autonomously updating cases or getting updates, but another channel coming into our same customer service process. So I'm just going to type hello, and the agent will then ask me, how can I help today? I need an update on my case. The agent will then say, please provide your case ID. So we just have a case pre-configured for this, and it will then respond with the actual details of that case, the status, the update that it has in terms of the Copilot summary that we've been able to configure, and some additional information. Now that's fantastic, but we wanted to be able to then push information back into the system. So we're just simply say, would you like to add an update to the case, requesting a task for an update, to which I've said yes. And the agent then tells me that that task has been created and that follow-up will happen. Back in the system, we are all still working on that same consolidated case, and we will now have an update to say that the agent has processed, we have those conversations, we have that task created, and we have the ability then to drill into, again, this is the original phone call, we have the ability to drill in and see all, listen back to the recording, and basically stay up to date with the case in terms of every channel that the user has chosen to engage with us, and keep it all consolidated within a single record. It goes without saying then that this all then feeds back into our dashboard. So if I go back to my customer service representative dashboard, I see my new case regarding printer and laptop, which we've created today. That came in from an original voice channel, but was then pushed out into different channels and different aspects of the solution. So as I mentioned, that is very much a whistle-stop tour. What we wanted to highlight was the ability for the multiple channels to be used by an individual. So the user, the member of the public, the customer, whichever we want to refer to them as, they choose the channel they want to engage with us. It's our job then to filter and funnel those into a consolidated record and not have a set of disparate systems where we lose context and therefore give a poor customer experience. So hopefully you all took some value from that and seen some hopeful use cases, and we'll have lots of questions to ask. But I'm just going to pass back to Greg now to talk about the business value of elevating your contact center experience with some of the tools that we've demoed today.
Thanks, Graham. Really good demo. Thank you for that. And I think for me, it just really highlights just how much rich functionality comes straight out of the box with Dynamics 365 Contact Center. But really the opportunity, again, as we talked about, how agentic can really extend those capabilities to add a lot of value to many different personas, right? Not just the human agent serving the customer, but we talk a lot about then the customer experience off the back of that, the efficiency around first call resolution, but also other personas. I touched on supervisors earlier, having that real-time insight into those conversations and stepping in at the right time, coaching and mentoring their workforce, but also business and IT management. More investment in this technology is ultimately going to lead to process efficiency, i.e. cost reduction, but also more intangible benefits around competitive advantage, but also more tangible benefits as well in terms of a real sight of increased revenue, share of wallet of customer, all of those good things, as well as TCO reduction. So we could talk at length because there's just so many benefits associated to this, to investment in this technology. But conscious of time, we're running slightly over. We'll move on and just wrap up really what we can offer here as Telefónica Tech. And one of those service offerings we have is a maturity roadmap for contact center AI. So what we're hearing more and more from our customer base is really having someone that knows how to apply this technology within their domain to actually assess the current landscape that they're working with, the different technologies that are causing some of those inefficiencies or ways of working, but also understanding what kind of KPIs make most sense for you guys to try and start measuring and benchmark yourselves against. And we do that very kind of user-centric, in a user-centric approach. So we look at all the different personas involved. We also look at your readiness as an organization to actually invest and adopt this technology. The real hard part is actually not so much stitching the technology together, it's actually making sure people are aware of it, how to use it, at the right time for the right reasons. In the second piece here, what we do is we take all of that existing assessment and turn it into a bit of a to-be solution view for you. So, what are the kind of low-hanging fruit opportunities for us to embed agentic AI into the contact center? So, and really, what kind of what benefits does that bring with it? And then how best to adopt that? It's not going to be necessarily overnight, but what does the timescale look to actually deliver on that? So the main deliverable here would be a roadmap that we present to you for contact center modernization, which has iterative releases of this kind of technology, really tailored to you as an organization. So you're taking sure steps to adopt it. Obviously, with that comes some consultancy support, delivery support for us to help implement it, and obviously the associated costs and benefits and all the other considerations around licensing and operational support that no doubt you'll need to bear in mind when investing and adopting the new technology. So if you want to hear more about this, it'd be my pleasure to speak with you as a follow-up and share more about the scope and how we typically engage, what's expected of you, all those good things. And yeah, hope to hear from you on that. So do get in touch, and we'd be delighted to help. So I think that's the end of the presentation, really. Like I say, all the slides will be sent to you, the recording with it. Have we got any time for questions? Any couple questions? Yeah. What do we have? Question from Richard. Does it have the other ITIL processes available to this toolset, e.g. request management, CMDB, change, etc., or is it in the roadmap?
The simple answer is yes, yes. As I mentioned at the start of the demo, we are only scratching the surface on a very simplistic technical support process that we mapped out today. But those are all components of the platform and the solution as is. And there are a long list of roadmap items coming along in relation to those as well. But yeah, very much part of the solution. Thank you. Thanks.
Cool. How can Dynamics 365 Contact Center help deliver more personalized customer experiences across channels?
I think the simple answer to this one is personalization relies on data. If you are using a disparate set of tools, such as a lot of the organizations we speak with who have case management tools, telephony tools, live chat tools, SMS tools, but they're all disparate. They're all retaining their own data source. So you don't really have a consolidated data profile of your customers. Contact center addresses that, as you've seen, by channeling all of the calls into a single record. So everything was linked to the contact, everything regarding the case was linked to the case. So now from that data set, that consolidated data set, we can then drive that personalized engagement, whether that's something that marketing want to use, whether it's a feedback survey. We understand you raised the case about your laptop. We understand it took us a few days to resolve. You have all of that data now to then drive that personalization, and also the AI components to summarize the content and really just pull out the important data points to then personalize the next customer service experience or any sales and marketing processes that are linked off the back of your company as well.
Lastly, the most common challenges organizations face when trying to modernize their contact center. Any thoughts on that, Graham?
Yeah, I think it starts initially with data as well. So as Greg mentioned, our assessment, our maturity assessment really just looks to understand your existing data landscape and how much of that we can consolidate. We then pair that with user adoption. You will have seen hopefully how simplistic the interface is, but we appreciate that for some organizations it may be quite a leap to go from a disparate set of tools, maybe a soft phone on a desk, going all the way to a browser-based soft phone as we showed today. So it's really just understanding those existing systems, understand that if they are fragmented, just how fragmented they are and how we can bring that into the solution, but also how we can drive those operational efficiencies by bringing users along in the journey as well and showing them the true value of having a consolidated contact center solution versus a disparate set of tools that you have to switch context, you lose context, and you give a slightly per customer experience. So yeah, all around data and user adoption are the two key challenges that we see. And we have tools and techniques already in place to address those and assist you with those.
Yeah, and I think it's important to say not, the old phrase of don't boil the ocean, right? Because there's so much agentic can do to really modernize customer engagement and handling of those incoming conversations. But really, it's typical change management. you're introducing new technology in, you have to really take very assured steps to embedding that into the organization at the right time, sensitive to the people involved as well, and particularly with AI tools like Dynamics 365. So yeah, cool. I think yeah, we'll kind of wrap up there. Bit over time, but thank you so much for your attention, and wishing you all a very positive onward week. And yeah, we look forward to engaging with you potentially as a follow-up. So thanks so much and have a good day.
Thanks, everyone. Talk to you all soon.
Bye bye.